Welcome back. I did say that now we're talking about something everybody is excited to hear, and that word is money. Now it comes to a point in your life where you feel like, look, I've got to do something to make a bigger income, get bigger profits, whether it's to scale up your business, scale up whatever it is that you do that actually brings a return on investment. Now to tell us more about sales, marketing, what do I do to ensure that my money, like Shego Adebowale would say, ego puribo, to get this large money into my account and to also make the work of the kingdom move forward. I have with me Iyore Ogwigwe, who is a sales strategy consultant, and he is going to be consulting for you, consulting for me, and consulting for all of us here today, and telling us how to, some things to bring in the kulele and bring in the money into the account. Now, when it comes to business, we've talked about how we're saying entrepreneurship. Some people want to make money, do several things. And you were telling me some things behind, and I was like, oh my God, I think people need to hear this. Buying and selling. Sometimes, because I want to make money, right? I have a shoe, or I start selling shoes, I start selling bags. I buy 4,000, I sell at 7,000 naira. I just want to make money. Now, what exactly is a business, first of all, and a business model in the first place?
Okay, good. Thank you so much for having me on set. So like what we were discussing before I came on set, I said, somebody who does buying and selling, that's not a business, right? If maybe you're buying, like you said, maybe bags, shoes to sell at a profit, that's not a business. Because what makes a business is the systems and structures that are available for that business or for that organization or for what you do to drive your product or service through the markets. Anybody who does buying and selling, that's a capital raising strategy. So when people say things like they want to raise money for their business, want to raise capital, strategies you can put in place to raise capital is basic buying and selling. So as you make profits off it, you start to put the money aside so that you can then prepare to run a proper business. To run a proper business, first things first, number one, vision. Vision. And when we say vision, we are not really looking at vision the way people say, oh, vision. What we're just saying is, what do you see in the future? What's the long-term plan for that business? It's not advisable you run a business for 1 or 2 years. In 1 or 2 years, the business may not have even started. So you want to look at, 5 years, 10 years. What's the long-term plan for what I'm trying to achieve? After vision, next thing you want to look at is business model. What's your business model? A business model just simply means what are the strategies you put in place to ensure that you make profits for your product or service. And there are different business models you can model or you can copy. Because it's advisable that you model an existing business model, right? So if you are trying to do something no one has done before, if you model an existing business model, you can then improve on that model to find your own model that works for you. But most times, people don't really have to improve on any model. Once they find an existing model that works, they can just copy and start to improve what they do. So like the example you use, bags and shoes. Who currently sells bags and shoes as a proper business, with systems, with structures? Who does that? Whether here in Nigeria or outside the country. Can you copy, can you emulate? If you've not seen anybody like that you can emulate, there are books you can study. There are books of successful businesses you can read that can give you that information. Our pastor has always told us that success is the application of revealed principles and means. So if we find the revealed principles and means, we can then have the clear strategy or clear process to be able to build that model that works. After building a business model, next thing, after you found a business model...
Now before you go to the business, because sometimes this is a large, we're talking to several people.
Yes.
What is a business model? Because you're saying you build a business model.
A business model just simply means the strategy you deploy to make profits for your product or service. So, for example, someone can decide to sell bags and shoes, right? You may decide you want to use the e-commerce strategy, like the Jumias of this world, right? You may also decide you want to open a store, then have a production line, you want to open a store, then have more stores. You may decide you want to use the wholesaler, distributor, retail model, where you're a distributor and you sell to wholesalers, or you're a distributor that sells to the wholesaler, or you're a wholesaler, you sell to the retailer. So it all depends on what is working that you're aware of. Because if you want to go into a business, you're probably going to that business because you're interested in that product or service. If you're not interested, then why wasting time? So if you're interested, that means that you'll be willing to go and get the information. You'll be willing to do the research. You'll be willing to go to places where you can find people who do that kind of business and learn from them. Before I came into the consulting space, I used to work in the banking sector. During my leave days, I would go and attach myself to a consulting firm. And I would go with them as they engage prospects or engage clients. I would see how they do what they do, how they were doing what they were doing. I would actually look for how to add some value to them. And in a matter of time, it wasn't long before when I started, I already have a template, I already had the blueprints, no assumptions, clarity. And with lights, even the Bible says if your whole body is full of lights, if your eye is single, your whole body will be full of lights. So with that clarity, there was lights, and you knew what to do at every point in time.
Okay.
I knew what to do at every point in time.
I mean, it's so good to have you on set.
Thank you, Joy.
Knowing that you have a renowned portfolio of being a sales expert in our world today. So I would want to ask if I have something I want to sell. This is something that somebody already is selling.
Yes.
And this is the business I want to go into because I have discovered that this is what is selling now. For instance, let's take water.
Okay.
Everybody wants to drink water, and you feel, okay, once I go into this business, I can just start making profit and start making money. So how do I distinguish my value, from others and be able to compete in that same market in sales?
Okay, now, first of all, vision is a distinguishing value.
Okay.
Right? Vision in the sense that someone says you want to go into a water business. The reason for going into the business is always very important. It's not really advisable you go into a business just because this is what is currently selling now. Because the moment you have obstacles or challenges, you may not be able to propel through those challenges. Vision is what helps you endure the current challenges. Because when you go into any business, there will definitely be obstacles. And when you look at business models, the business model will not tell you what the challenges are.
Yeah.
But what will happen is the vision you have of growing a water brand or building a water brand like XYZ, as the case may be, is what will keep you through the challenges and help you finish strong.
Okay.
So when you have that vision and clarity of what you want to do, then it's easy for you to be able to differentiate yourself. Remember, we do not sell our similarities, we sell our differences. So, and knowing your difference sometimes could simply be engaging your existing customers and finding out from them, oh, what do you like about us? Why did you choose us instead of this other water brand? And someone could probably tell you, oh, it was your bottle. Oh, it was
taste.
the USP, right? Oh, it was the way where it was placed or where I saw it. Then you can then find, okay, this is what is differentiating me from others. Then use that as a strategy to drive, capitalize on it, to drive the business even further.
Okay, I'll be asking you a two-legged question. The first one is, you said someone who is doing buying and selling
Yes.
without a vision is not running a business.
No. What I'm saying is that buying and selling alone, someone who just does buying and selling, and there is no long-term picture of what it is you're trying to achieve. You're just doing it because let me have money to eat now. Let me have extra money to run expenses now. That's not a business yet. It becomes a business the moment you've been able to put in certain structures, financial structures, legal structures, marketing structures, sales structures. It depends on the kind of business, a supply chain structure. So when those structures are in place, then you now have a business. People structure too, very important.
Excellent.
Because the whole idea with business is we want to ensure that even if you're not there, things can still run. If you still have to be there before the business can run, you're not a business person yet. You're still an employee in one way. That's it.
I like what you said, all those structures being in place before you start running that business.
Before you can
call it a business.
Before you can call it a business, awesome. We've had businesses, establishments, particularly in Nigeria, not going beyond the 5-year span, in spite of the fact that all those structures
Were in place.
the vision, and all of those things that you talked about.
Yeah.
Yet, 5-year time, usually the business dies.
And that takes me to, I've talked about vision, I've talked about business model, that takes me to my third point. The skill set of the business owner. Skill sets. Because, just for the records, when somebody says the vision died after 5 years, please, just for the records, visions don't die, right? Visions don't die. Now, one of the reasons why the vision may not have materialized could be the skill set of the business owner.
What dies, your vision does not die.
The person steps back because the person didn't have the required skill sets to continue. So the skill sets of business owner, now what are the skill sets we have to look at? For example, people building skills, financial skills, financial management skills, leadership skills, communication skills, administrative skills. What are the skills that are required for that business to run? How good is business owner in those skills or in that skill set? How good is this person in hiring? You know, sometimes, you know, if you hire the wrong people, if you don't, let me say this way, if you don't hire people, the business will never grow. But if you hire the wrong people, you will destroy the business. Right? So you have to be able to look at hire people. The business will never grow. But if you hire the wrong people, you will destroy the business. Right? Wow. So you have to look at hiring skills. These are all the skills that are required for you to be able to succeed in any business. And if these skills are there, you would be able to thrive. You would be able to see areas to improve. Anybody who is currently doing buying and selling now to make money for the short term is not a bad thing. It's good. Because like I said, that will help you raise capital. And the money you make from that business should be put into yourself to develop yourself. A business will not grow beyond the capacity of the business owner or the capacity of the visionary. So the more you take that money and invest back into yourself, the sooner you can start to set that system, business in auto run or in place to be very, very effective.
Okay. So you're saying if someone wants to run a particular line of business, he or she must be knowledgeable in that business.
Must. I like that. Must. And there are many ways you can go about it. Some people create limitations on themselves unconsciously. They say things like, I'm waiting to get money so I can go and do an MBA. If you don't have money to go and do the MBA now, you can do personal study. It is not, someone says, we go to school to become literates, but it's the literature we invest in after school that makes us successful. So this means that the more you search for knowledge, the more you acquire information about that business, the sooner you become as wealthy or you make the money you decide to make from that business.
Which is more important when starting a business, vision or capital?
Vision is more important. Now, when I say vision, let's not, you know, there are times when I've sat with people like this, maybe not on sets, and I'm talking to them about vision, and they think, and it's like they're not really getting what I'm trying to say. Vision simply means, I want to go into shoe and bags. I'll ask myself, who do I want to replicate? Who is currently doing shoe and bags? Who? I look at a particular brand and I'm like, okay, you know what? I want to be like that brand. Let me find out, how do they run their business? What do they do? The moment I'm facing obstacles, I remember I'm trying to be like that brand. How do they run their business? You're checking, you're studying, you're doing the research. You're starting small, but thinking big. Focusing on that vision where you're going to. And you find out that before long, everything about you, your whole life will start to head in that direction. Everything will just start to head in that direction. Then when you face, it will also help you address issues of competition, where you're distracted by looking at what other people are doing. Some people, they've lost their business vision because they looked at what someone else was doing on social media, and they felt, this person is making so much money and is doing this in business. I've not even started. And because of that, it kills their morale, dampens their spirits.
Now, what if someone already has, the person is still focused, he has all these financial structures, marketing structures, sales structures.
All the structures of this
all
world.
The structures of this world. And has, and you rightly said something, taking that money and also developing myself. Yes. I've developed myself now as a business owner. But I'm having this challenge of selling these products. It has got to a point where it's like, I'm stagnant. I don't know what's like the way forward to ensure that more people are getting this product. Maybe I just have 50 customers. Maybe sometime I scaled up to 100, but now I want to move from 100 to 500 new customers. How do I move up? I have all these things, I have these structures, but it doesn't seem to be moving. I don't seem to make new connects. I don't seem to be reaching out to more people.
That takes you to point number 5 from what I said. Marketing is the rent you pay to stay in business.
Wow.
Right? Marketing is the rent you pay to stay in business. When we say the rent you pay, if nobody knows what you're doing, nobody would patronize you. The more people know about your product, know about you, know about your services, the more you can get people to buy from you. So it's important that every business has what we call a marketing budget. And part of skill set is everybody today needs to learn how to do online ads. Whether it's Google ads, Facebook ads, email marketing, those are skill sets that everybody needs today. Especially in a world where right now, a lot of people are still trying to get back into the way things used to be in terms of going out, face-to-face, physical gatherings. A lot of things are online now, and a lot of people are with their mobile phones. So the more people learn such skills, the better they'll be able to find their prospects and engage them. So there has to be a marketing budget. There must be a marketing budget, and that's why I said marketing structures is very important. If there's no marketing budget, then you will not know, then there will be no way people will find you. And marketing doesn't necessarily mean only social media ads.
Okay.
You could decide that, okay, there are magazines that, or publications that my prospects will probably be reading. You can sponsor pages on those publications, and they don't cost so much, funny enough. There are different things you can do. Or could it be an event, and you decide, oh, I want to sponsor this event, let me have my logo on your stand here, let me talk about it. You know, there are different ways you can go about it. I know a lady, I may not mention her name, but she's a well-renowned fashion brand. I met her once and I spoke with her and I said, how did you get to this point? And part of the thing she said was, she said, every time there was an event, maybe a trade fair or any event where she could exhibit her clothes, she was always there. And she would get excellent hangers, because she wanted to do a luxury brand. She would get the different kind of hangers, you know, a different kind of stand. Everything about it was top notch. And before long, people were coming to her stand. The governor's wife came to her stand, liked her clothes, bought her clothes. Before long, she opens a store in Ikoyi. Before long, you know, business keeps growing and expanding. So anywhere there's an opportunity, there was an opportunity for her to showcase what she had to offer. She was there to showcase it. So that's what that's what business owners should do.
So is there a place for human referrals as well to help a growing business?
Of course, but you cannot. But you see, referrals is not a business strategy.
Oh.
Yes, referrals is just like the icing on the cake. It's extra. Nobody, and by the way, nobody gives you referrals without you asking, right? Most times people don't. So that's why you always have to ask.
Yes.
But you see, you cannot grow a business and say
and depend on human
referrals. You can't say something like, oh, how do you get customers? We use referrals. I said, no, that's not a strategy. You can't say use referrals. There has to be another way you go about getting customers afresh, whether it's through cold calling, whether it's through your email marketing, or whether it's through the publications you do, and there's a number for people to call your office. Whatever it is, there has to be something else. While referrals can be extra.
Yeah, I know you, like I mentioned this before, how that you are a sales expert, and there's somebody going into marketing. You mentioned marketing not long ago, and someone is saying, see, they gave me this thing to sell. I just want to make some commission from it. And how do I sell when nobody wants to buy? Okay. And then how do you, face this rejection to say, oh no, see, we're not buying this thing from you. And how can you, as a marketing personnel, be able to thrive in that line?
Okay, thank you. 80% of selling is psychology. Now, psychology means mindset, right? And your mindset has to do with your attitude, your beliefs about the way you see the world, the way you interpret situations, circumstances. So, 80% is psychology, and it's not psychology of the prospect or the customer, but the psychology of the salesperson, the person who wants to do the selling. So the psychology of that person is what really counts. This means that the person must have that belief that, hey, this product has been given to me, I can actually sell it. The person must be able to work on his or her self-confidence, because you see, the more you boost your self-confidence, the more you'll be able to handle the rejections that come from selling. And how do you boost your self-confidence? Simple things like affirmations. What you say to yourself every day. Self-talk, talking to yourself, it feeds your mind, feeds your spirit, and helps you act more confidently. Knowledge, learning about what you're selling, gives you confidence too. Like I heard, before I came on set, I heard everybody talking. Yeah. That kind of knowledge you all have also gives you confidence when you relate to people. So general knowledge, knowledge about the product, it gives you confidence. Building yourself with words helps you with your psychology and builds your confidence. After that, be clear about what are the unique features of your product or service. We do not sell our similarities, we sell our differences. What are your differences? What do you have that no one else can have, or no one else has, or few people have, that can be a unique selling point for what it is you're trying to sell? The third thing is you need to identify your target markets. Who's your target audience? You can't sell to everybody. If you're trying to sell to everybody, you will not sell to anybody. Yes. Who's your target audience?
The number 1 to number 6 that you've just highlighted now, do they come into play at every cycle of a business? You know, a business, there is the awareness stage, there's the competitive stage, there's the retentive stage. Yes. Do all of them come into play, or there are times when a few come into play? How does it play out?
Now, is this in regards to like the sales process or the business process? Because they're not the same thing, right? Because the sales process talks about the repeated steps you take to engage everybody who makes contact with your business.
And the business?
Right? Whereas the business process has to do with the process it takes from production or purchase to the end user. So the business process would have to do with, okay, at what point do we make the first contact with the customer? At what point does customer service come in? At what point does maybe complete resolution come in? The whole entire journey. So every business has its different models, and the different models will determine how the business process will work.
Yeah. Okay, so finally, I want to ask a question.
Thank you.
You said something about it's got to be long-term now.
Yes, long-term, because if it's long-term, it's sustainable.
Okay. But now this is, with the way the country is right now, this might show I'm back business. I'm just getting 2,000, 1,500, you know, that kind of profit. Now I want to scale up my profit, right?
Yes.
And I see that, look, selling a luxurious brand would just give me, imagine, making 100K from just one shoe like this. I just want to switch.
You have
I just want to switch. So is it okay if I think like, look, this low end products are not actually giving me what I want? I just switch to a luxurious brand. Is it fine, or is it okay, or is it not okay? Because look, I've got to make my money.
See, in running a business, right? The thinking. See, there's what we call mental structures. Mental structures are more important than physical structures, right? So mental structures means, how does your mind work? Are you going to say because you're not making enough money now, automatically you think that the challenge is what you're selling or is the economy? That may not be the challenge.
Yeah.
It could just be your understanding of the business you're trying to run. Is there even a business model, or let me say this?
Or your lack of understanding.
Yes, lack of understanding. Is there a strategy? Do you understand the strategy of this business and how people make money in this business?
Oh.
So making money, it has nothing to do with luxury good or non-luxury good. Has nothing to do with the industry. Some people think, okay, if I'm in this industry, I'll make more. It's not true. Irrespective of the industry you're in, as long as you can meet people who have needs, you can find people who have needs, and provide a solution to that need, and make the number of people and engage more people with that need by scaling, the more money you will make.
Yeah.
Now,
That's
it's clearer when you hear, sometimes when you hear men of God say success is looking out for human need and reaching out, you're like, this man is just putting Bible. And now this is practical. In the business, you talked about mental structures,
Yes.
how those mental structures are more important than the physical structure. So if you're a business owner or you're intending to go into a business, what is your mental structure like? Because